A former Leicestershire Police Inspector faced a misconduct hearing this week for inappropriately touching 4 female constables at a Christmas party. The party was held in January this year, as for some reason it was belated, where former Inspector Lane was with 26 others at an Italian restaurant when he drank so much he struggled to stand up, according to the information given at the misconduct hearing. Lane was the highest ranking officer at the party, which probably gave him a bit of a superiority complex. Arriving at the party at 9:30, by 11 p.m. he was struggling to stay on his feet and had already thrown up in the street. The panel heard how he approached one young female officer at the bar, put his arms around her waist before sliding his right hand down to her thigh and then round to the front of her leg. A male colleague had to pull his hand away twice and told him you shouldn't be doing that, before advising him to go home. Not one for taking orders from the lesser in rank than himself, Lane instead moved towards the dance floor where another one of his female officers was dancing. The chair of the panel, Nick Stanage, described how Mr. Lane danced with her and reached and took hold of her clothing in the chest area and pulled the fabric in a manner which exposed her chest before the woman warned him, "You should watch yourself." After that he went outside to throw up against the lamppost and then headed back into the restaurant where he passed another of his female officers and slapped her on the arse. Next he put his arms around 2 other female colleagues as they were dancing and slid his hand down to the hip of one of the women. Chair of the panel, Nick Stanage, said each contact represented unwanted touching of a junior female colleague. He added that while none of the women wanted to make an official complaint, there was the potential for Mr. Lane's actions to have a serious impact on the working environment for the 4 female officers and undermine public confidence in the police force. Lane didn't bother to attend the hearing, but did send in a letter which was read out. In his letter he said he was unable to remember any of the incidents because he was so drunk. However, he did accept all the allegations against him. He said, "I cannot offer an explanation for my actions. It breaks my heart that I've let myself down, let my team down, and let the police service down. These actions were completely out of character." It was said that had Lane not already resigned prior to the hearing, then the option for punishments would have been a written warning, a reduction in rank, or dismissal. But seeing as he had resigned, it obviously sounds better for the panel to say that they would have dismissed him, as it makes no difference to former Inspector Lane anymore anyway. Whereas if he was still serving, he would probably have just been given a written warning. But I guess again, we should be grateful that he has left, otherwise we might not be able to say.
Another one bites the dust.